Some people actually get bored in nature. They're like, I don't really know what to look at. I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of bored. Today, that will never be the problem for you again. Today, we are going to give you keys and secrets to how to be totally engaged with nature. I'm going to show you my favorite thing in the world to do. That's what we're going to be doing all day today, and that is checking out nature mysteries. I'm going to be putting something in the center of the circle that's kind of your mystery object. And what I'm going to ask you to do when we first start is the inner circle is going to make observations about it. You're so ready?
It's a rock. Oh.
Go ahead and say some observations and check it out.
It's soft. It's hard.
It's not a rock. It's like part of a tree.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's part of a tree.
So,
Which part of the tree is it?
Yeah, it's good.
Alejandro just said that it's rough. Do you agree it's rough?
Yes. Yeah.
It's rough. Did you feel it? Yeah. What about the color? How can you describe the color?
It's brown.
And then it has
It's like there's a white. There's a white outline.
Hey, Kaylee, can you check it out? Does it feel heavy or light?
It feels kind of light, actually.
Feels kind of light. Do you agree? Can you check it out, Xander? Would you agree?
Yeah, it's light.
People in the outer circle, remember, you can ask questions this whole time.
What is the white stuff?
Ooh, what is the
I'm
white
not
stuff?
sure.
Okay, inner circle, switch with outer circle.
Oh, it's not. More stuff is behind the tree. I want to touchy this thingy thing.
Okay, inner circle, make observations. Outer circle, ask questions. Go.
There are holes in it.
What kind of holes? Are they big holes, little holes? What?
Like just this small one.
Oh, check it out. Do you see that, Maverick? Do you see the hole he's pointing out?
Why do you think it's white? Or it might be those like.
Can you look at that hole again? Can you describe that hole better?
Like small. It looks like it's probably popcorn nut.
Does it seem deep or shallow, the hole?
Deep.
Here's what we're going to do next. And this is everybody, and no matter what circle you're in, is we're going to try to make explanations for this. But they're explanations based on evidence. By explanation, I mean, I think this side is right side up, or I think that it may have been living in such and such of a place, or those are explanations. But you have to always say, I think this is right side up, and my evidence is blah, 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 blah.
I think it was one of the trees that have a nest on it, like directly under the nest.
What makes you say that? What's your evidence?
There's like, it looks like bird poo.
Oh, so like one of your explanations is that white stuff might be bird poo, and your other explanations it might have been from under nest, and your evidence is that it looks like there's bird poo on it. Huh. What do you guys think of that explanation?
Good. Yeah, it's reasonable.
You know, it's cool. It's really cool. Totally cool to agree. It's totally cool to politely disagree too, and come up with a different explanation for it.
Kind of disagree because this part is white, but this is more white, and it looks like this would be like the outside of the bark of the tree.
Did you notice how politely he disagreed there? Did you also notice that he said he used what we call language of uncertainty? He said, I think that maybe, he didn't say, I know this. That's not science-y. It's much more science-y to say, I think maybe the evidence might show this. Somebody else want to do an explanation for this. You can agree with one of these guys or disagree or come up with something totally different.
I think this might have came from
I found it.
mountain side, because this could have been dried snow or ice.
Dried snow or ice, like the white stuff?
Yeah.
Might be dried snow or ice. That's another explanation.
Yeah, good point.
What'd you just say?
Like dried snow would be water. But
Oh. And did you notice what Ryan just did? He's like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. You're right. He's just like that's totally a science way of thinking, where you're willing to change your mind right away, not be stubborn about something when the evidence goes against it. He just changed his mind. Nice job, Ryan. Anybody else have a different explanation? So here's what I'd like you to do now, is I want you to say things about this that it reminds you of, or something that you might think it might be, or maybe you might say something like, oh, in a movie I saw something like this, or I saw something that looked like this somewhere in the woods, and this is what it was. Anything like that, but you have to, if you say something about this, like knowing about it, you have to say what your source is. So if you're going to say, I think that's a lion, and obviously that's a silly example, right? And say, I think that's a lion because I saw a nature movie with a lion and it looked just like that. Okay, that's a silly example, right? But I'm telling my source, where I got my information from. So does this remind anybody of anything, or do you know anything about it from before? Isabella?
it reminds me of sometimes like on the tree you see like these kind of little limbs or something.
Little limbs on a tree?
Yeah, so can I see it?
So like where people grab on sometimes maybe, or where a tree branch falls off.
Oh, like a little stub from left behind where a branch might have broken off? It reminds you of that? So I found this. It was in my front yard. And it was on a stump. What you just did. Put this in a package. Hang on to this. Your mindset right now, you're making observations. Did you notice what you just did? You asked so many questions. You came up with a ton of observations. You made explanations based on evidence. You disagreed and agreed with each other really politely. You came in, you thought, reminds me of this, and brought up all this stuff, and you talked about your sources. That's what I want you to hang on to for the whole hike, okay? So we're gonna look at everything in nature and try to do the same thing. So here's what you're gonna do next. Right up in this direction, what you're gonna do is you're going to find anything at all that's interesting to you. And when you find it, what do you think you're gonna do?
Observe it.
Make observations, what else?
Make explanations.
Make explanations. Explanations based on evidence, what else?
Remind you.
What reminds you of, nice, Michael?
Ask questions.
Ask questions about it.
I think that this turned from alive all the way to like reddish color because there wasn't enough sun on this part, and there was a lot of sun and rain still here. Look, these are
Maybe it was like ringing and then maybe like a lot.
What else do you know?
Amazing. Did you see what you're doing? Did you see each other? People were discovering just all kinds of stuff and saying all kinds of stuff about it. There are observations I've never made before, and you were making them. Awesome.